Adagio pairs up really nicely with Ringo. I mean, because he give him that buff, he give him that extra attack speed. I want to say Arden recently ran this during the VIPL. He's a fantastic pick, and he's really one of the most flexible heroes in the game because he can play almost every role.
Yeah, he really is. He can play. You don't see a lot of weapon Adagio, although there used to be a thing. But you can see as a support, he is very strong. He actually is used when Arden or Catherine are off the table, and he's usually the next go-to support. But there's a lot of crystal Adagios, and a crystal late Adagio and a crystal jungle Adagio are very, very strong. I've seen a lot of high elo comps use this comp. I've seen Vertigo use this comp. So with the Adagio and Arden, so this is really, really going to be interesting. And actually, these Sky, Glaive, Ringo, and Adagio could go late or jungle here. We're not sure how this is going to pan out. So let's get into this match, and we're about to find out.
Awesome.
So we're just waiting for the last lock-in, and it looks like we are ready to go. And here we are in the fold. And Bremen, why don't you start us off with talking about any surprises from the early builds?
Well, it's looking pretty straightforward. Looks like we're going to have Glaive in the lane, and most likely going up against the weapon power Ringo. We got Sky building Crystal. That's very dangerous, especially once she gets a couple of items. Even one tier 3 item on her, she is a factor. And so it looks like Adagio is going to carry jungle for synergy. I think we got a solid matchup up here. I think by mid game, there's just going to be brawls left and right.
Absolutely. And you see in the jungle, both teams, both Synergy and Vertigo, trying to get all of their jungle backs. It's something that you didn't used to see prior to 1.12, but with the change of experience that's granted from the minions, you see a lot more of that, where it's too much experience on the table to give up when you go into your first engagement. So there you have Vertigo going actually with the first engagement, trying to take down Bubba Gun. You see the stun coming out of Catherine, and wow, Synergy's got the first death, first kill going to Vertigo, with Bubblegum going down in the lane.
That was very nice. Synergy was moving down to the jungle, trying to get the drop on them, going to the jungle shop. They rotated up to the lane, and now they actually got them. Well, they stepped on the scout trap. Ooh, there goes Sky.
Oh, complete surprise. Vertigo not realizing that Synergy was on their side of the shop. They didn't see it at all. They walked right into a scout trap and a complete massacre. And there you have it. It's trade. So now it's 1-2 with going Synergy. And just a complete, I think, vision going on from Vertigo, because they didn't rotate down to their shops and rotate right up to the lane. They did get the early kill, but now they're going to lose out on an enormous amount of gold.
Guy's trying to get at least a little farm.
Yeah, it looks like Vertigo did pick up some of those creeps there. That was really important for Vertigo to not let those backs get completely in the hands of Team Synergy. Synergy, though, doing a good job rotating in, getting to the positions they want. And you have Rix in the lane with a 15 to 14 creep score. He's holding his own, but Adagio is doing a great job at keeping it very balanced.
Yeah, I was way off on that one, Dragon. It looks like Adagio's in the lane. He's doing a fantastic job. The jungle Ringo, you don't see him that often, but he is very effective because he can get around.
Yeah, and he's got that slow, so he can really lock you down. You don't realize that you try to get away. Next thing you know, you're slowed, locked down in a bush, and he's poking at you, stutter stepping you the entire way. So interesting comp coming out. Lane Adagio doing a great job. He is being forced back just a little bit. You do see a 22 to 14 creep score deficiency in the lane, but in the jungle, a whole different story going on with a 15 to 12 creep score advantage in the jungle. Thanks to Synergy.
And yet gold is very even, actually, a little bit in Vertigo's favor. Probably a lot to do with Glaive being up there in the lane with his advantage.
Yeah, and that one early kill probably helped out a little bit. You see that in the back of kill. But there you see it. Glaive does use his afterburn to get away. One of the advantages to Glaive is his escape. So he has to go down. You see starting all over in Scourgent, going down the lane, trying to poke at Beowulf. Beowulf goes into the stun. You see Sty coming in, and he pulls out his forward barrage and his
Barrage.
And his missiles.
Oh, Glaive go down.
Yeah, Glaive does go down, and now it's just Vixen with Catherine going the other way. Vixen's caught out, and Vixen better get out of there. He uses his abilities to try to move farther away, does a great job, and he's just backpedaling all the way to the back of the jungle. He better be careful, though. But Skogin and starting over are really low, and you see Vertigo, Vixen pulling out again.
Take a little bit of extra farm if he's going to go down.
Yeah, he does take the backs before going down, trying to just keep, if anything, prevent Synergy from continuing to farm well. Ringo and Arden in the jungle could be so deadly if farmed, but without a lot of gold, they can fall off pretty quickly.
Well, Synergy's got the kill lead with 4-1 here. The gold is still very close. Our Glaive made his way back to the lane. Looks like he might push a little bit here.
Yeah, with Synergy coming down near the gold miner, you see them. They're trying to get all the vision they can placed all around that jungle there. You see, we're in the gold mine, in the tri-bush on the Vertigo side. So they've got great vision. This is going to help allow them to see. There's the afterburn escape from Rex. He does the stun back, but he's getting slowed and damaged. Almost gets killed by Ardent.
He hung around a little bit extra on that, but he still got out. The afterburn is great for escapes. It's always a factor.
Oh, but the Ringo stutter step's doing so good. You see starting all over going after Beowulf, and he gets 2 kills. It's 1-6. And Synergy doing a phenomenal job with this comp that they have right now. And they're definitely going to start taking the Goldie. It's so close right now, but now they're rocking down to take Gold Mine, and there's nothing Vertigo can do to contest it.
Well, right now there are light shields on every Synergy player, so they are considering Sky a threat, and they do not want to mess with that.
Yeah, you see defense is such a priority in this high type of a competitive match, because being able to stay around and take some of those early burst damages that come out of heroes when they start getting their abilities is so important. The auto attack's just not as deadly early game, so you see a lot of shield coming out of there. And Rick's trying to do damage onto Bubblegum. Puts up, almost takes him down to half health. Bubblegum's able to regen just a little bit here thanks to his abilities.
Well, Glaive's got that tension bow now, so he's got a nice chunk of burst there, and he's going to be able to lay into a bit. It's just a matter of probably synergizing with his team to take down Team Synergy.
Yeah, and you see Vertigo coming up to the lane again. They've tried this a few times already. It worked the first time. It has not worked since. And this is mostly due to the fact that they've lost good control of the jungle. They've been forced out because of Goldmine. But you see them coming down, Vertigo coming down. The Arden does save Ringo. He almost got completely destroyed by Glaive there, but the ultimate coming out of Ringo bursts down on Glaive. He's taking a ton of burn damage. So is Beowulf. The ultimate coming out of Vixen from Sky completely misses, not really effective. Beowulf coming in again, trying to get the stun. Vixen and Rix are trying to get at least 1 kill. Rix does pick up 1, but not before Synergy gets the ace.
It was a 3-for-1 on that. They went both ways for a little while. Vixen did dive in on that, and she was very close. He was very close on securing that kill, but it was a tough exchange.
Yeah, they were able to get so much poke damage going early on, and you see with starting all over, just building a real traditional weapon-focused build here with a heavy steel and 6-in, and with the attack speed. He's just going a generic weapon Ringo, but it's so powerful with the ability to speed up thanks to his twirling silver. He's able to get in and get out. And then with the slow coming out of Bubblegum, he's able to slow down Vertigo right in the position they want. And, you know, with Skogin only being level 5, he hasn't even pulled out the gauntlets yet. And once Arden gets level 6, this is going to be even harder for Vertigo to try to manage the positioning of these fights.
Absolutely. Arden becomes a huge factor midway into the game once he gets his gauntlet. Looks like it's about a 1,500 gold lead to Synergy right now. Vertigo lost a turret on that, but it's still a very close game.
It really is surprisingly close considering how quickly Synergy has been able to rack up the kills and also the turret in Goldmine. Vertigo doing a phenomenal job. You do see Skogin trying to go in. He doesn't have his gauntlets yet, but he's so close to getting up to the level, probably within another minute getting up there. You see the burst damage coming out on Beowulf. Beowulf's going to go down thanks to Ringo. It's unbelievable how much damage is coming out of starting all over. Oh, but then Rix comes in, tries to get the damage on. Then Vixen trying to still farm. You see them both dodging the Adagio ult, and then Sky goes down really quickly.
I think Vertigo's goal going forward is going to be trying to center around Rix right now, because none of the team Synergy, they haven't built any armor. There's a little bit of health on Arden with his building into his fountain, but he's able to chunk them down pretty significantly. And if he can pair up with Sky and Catherine appropriately, I think he can get some kills on that, and they can swing some of these team fights in their favor.
Absolutely, and you do see very little armor built on Beowulf right now. He's trying to rush a Fountain of Renewal. He's not there yet, and so he hasn't been able to put on a lot of armor, and thanks to the effective play coming out of Synergy, they've been able to prevent Team Vertigo in the jungle from really doing much farm, and that has hurt them drastically. And with Skogin just hitting level 6 now, they're going to want to really engage the next fight quickly.
Rix is getting very fed up, though. I mean, by that I mean he's getting fed. He's got an 80 CS, which is very respectable considering we're only 8.5 minutes into the game. he's going to get the items he needs and build a little armor on him, get Glaive to that brawler status. I think he's going to be scary late
And
game.
you see Rick's going right for the turret. He's not even wasting any time, and then takes some damage on the turret and then recalls back. You see Team Synergy trying to chase. They think he's around there somewhere. He recalls back in time. They continue to farm. So what you're seeing right now is Vertigo just trying to turtle, do a little bit of damage, get it a little bit farther, and then just recall back or stay out of harm's way. Vixen seeing that Synergy is coming up real quickly. You know, the Gauntlet's so dangerous right now. He's got to be very, very careful. He's going to get caught out.
Yeah. Yeah, Synergy is starving them out of their jungle right now. So that was a smart move by Rix. He got a little damage on the turret. He got out of there without any penalty for it. And that's what they really need to hope for. They need to sit back. They need to farm what they can. That's going to be a lot more difficult for Sky, but Glaive is doing pretty well right now, and maybe he can be the carry going into future team fights.
Yeah, and you see him freezing the lane. He doesn't want that lane to get too far away from his turret because outside of his turret range, he won't have a lot of protection. And so right now, Vertigo is realizing they're behind. They've identified that, and they're just playing from behind the best they can, slowing down the pace of this game until they can get back into it. It's only a 4 or 3,000 gold deficit. Well, not even a 3,000. So not horrible. A 2 to 10 kill lead is pretty rough, but they've been able to stay in the game with gold. And the new mechanics, you see the ultimate Hellfire Brew coming out. They go right towards Rick. Rick doesn't do a lot of damage, and he's almost back up to full health. He's, barely down, didn't do a lot. And now you see Synergy's trying to push the lane towards the Vertigo turret as they go for the next team fight.
Well, Ringo is infused right now, so if they catch anybody out, they're going to go down quick. They're focusing Glaive. He afterburns out of that danger. They're just going to pick down at this turret as much as they can because they've got full control of the jungle right now. All they want to do is push the lane, get them pushed back into their base if they can. So when Kraken comes out, they can go for that final push. It's still about 4 minutes till Kraken comes out. So they're going to try and do some more work in the meantime.
Yeah, they're still trying to farm, and Rix is so low. He's got to be careful about the burst damage coming out of the entire team. You can see they just actually have to back away because with the lane clear coming out of Team Vertigo and the phenomenal turtling, there's just nothing Synergy can do. They aren't able to pick up a kill, so now they're just going to go down and instead of starve themselves from gold, go down and pick up some of the farm.
Looks like Virgo's pushing the lane. They're probably not going to push for that turret, but Vixen's headed to the backs, get a little farm there.
Yeah, breaks the prize with no vision back there for Synergy. Vixen's able to go all the way through the back, pick up almost all the gold without being contested at all. And you see him, really gutsy call. Like, he's going for the healer creep. And then he's probably going to get out of there without getting caught. You see him recalling back now. Yep, he's not going to have a problem. And so Vertigo continuing to just keep in the game. They lost the early game quite decisively. So now they're just letting their heroes farm up, get the golden items they need so they can actually have a chance in the next team fight.
That's smart play. That's defensive play. It looks like Synergy was just starting to catch wind that their backs were being taken when Vixen ported out of there. So that was a really nice play by Vixen. Get a little extra items on. And we're back to pushing the second turret here.
Yeah, so this game's pace is slowed down, and it's exactly what Vertigo needs right now. But, if they can't get the team fight, if they don't pick the fight at the right time when they peak, they still run the risk of Synergy continuing to go back and farm. They've got the control of the gold mine and continuing to infuse. But infusing right now for Synergy could be dangerous because if Vertigo continues to slow down the game, this will actually cost them handily because they'll be spending money on infusions while Vertigo is not. And you see, Vixen does recall back. He actually gets away. He gets slowed, caught out. Almost got out of there, but he's going to just pick up some few more minions and then bail. But he does go down. Synergy realizing they got the kill. This is probably where they're going to go try to push the lane and get a fight.
That was just a little unlucky on behalf of Vixen. Not a long cooldown or respawn right now, so he'll be back up soon. But yeah, very well said. It's still the gold lead is not enormous for Synergy, so if Vertigo can get a little bit more, a few items on their builds, it's going to be a factor because there's a tipping point. And once everybody's got enough tier 3 items, after that it's only in infusions. And as you said, if they waste infusions, they're wasting gold and they're wasting their advantage at that point.
Yeah, it took a long time for actually Synergy to push that lane. So Vixen's already back. The next team fight's going to be completely balanced. You see the stun coming out, starting all over, gets ultimated by Sky. He goes down while Vertigo's actually getting the team fight they want. They take down. They're going for the ace. Arden's the last one left. Sky is so good at chasing. he's going to be able to deal a ton of damage even on a tank. You see the gauntlet coming out to protect himself. So Vertigo is immediately going to go right for pushing the lane and the turret. And this is unbelievable turn of events. For being down an enormous amount of kills, they're coming right back. They're going to tank this turret, and they're trying to take it down as quickly as possible. You see with the recalls timers finally coming back, Beowulf has to leave because he's taking so much turret damage. They're not going to get the ace. And you see Adagio and Ringo coming out really quickly, and they don't get the turret. So they're going to have to recall back here, but they took almost the turret out and did get 2 kills, and this is huge. The metrics for, or the mechanics for how gold works now actually gives Vertigo a chance with gold, because they were down in kills and in gold, and getting those kills at this point in the game helps kind of balance that a little bit.
Absolutely. They might not have gotten the ace on that, but that was a very successful team fight for Vertigo. Great play by Rix, getting out there, zoning Ringo back by the turret. So he took turret damage. I believe he took turret damage, but he definitely took the brunt of Vixen's death from above from Sky, and that changed the whole factor of the fight. And even the ult by Bubblegum wasn't enough to chunk them down enough to make it a danger for Vertigo. They were able to close out 2 kills on that very quickly.
Yeah, and Adagio, Crystal Adagio is such a powerful hero early game, but late game starts to fall off, and I think Vertigo realized that, decided just completely against trying to even attempt to take that mid game, and they've waited almost to the late game. It's almost 15 minutes. Kraken's about to come out, and now Vertigo's starting to be a little bit more confident.
Well, even with going a very offensive build on Adagio, like you said, he does fall off. And Bubblegum right now just got the Shatter Glass and the Frost Burn. That's just 2 tier 3 damage items. The rest is defense to keep him alive longer. But yeah, I think you're right. He's not going to be having a huge damage output going into late game.
And Kraken has spawned. It does take 9 seconds for him to come up, but they're going right for Kraken. You do see there's a lot of vision. There's not much Vertigo can do to sneak in there, but they do realize that they're going for Kraken. They know they need to go in there. They're going to try to contest it. You see the stun coming out of Beowulf. Comes the gauntlets with
they're going in.
And the ultimate coming out of Sky. They're got to worry about the team fight and Kraken at the same time. This is super, super dangerous. Are they going to be able to get, if they can get it with the regen? But Vertigo's going down, and they're not going to get it. And the ace comes out, and the Kraken's almost taken. So down goes Vertigo and the ace, and this was not what they wanted. The gauntlet was able to kind of keep them out of the positioning they needed. So now Team Synergy is going to pick up the Kraken, and they got the ace, and they're going to definitely push this lane as far as they can.
Dragon, more power to Vertigo on that, though. That was an old school street fight. They knew they had to at least challenge that Kraken, because if Synergy got the uncontested Kraken and got to push the lane, it would have been trouble for Vertigo anyway. So I respect their decision, man. It was worth a shot. Absolutely.
It was worth a shot, but extremely risky and dangerous, and it did not pay off. They were not able. I think they were expecting the Kraken to be almost taken at that point, or at least they were trying. But the incredible vision out of Synergy was really what prevented Vertigo from sneaking in there and peeking. Synergy knew immediately that they were there, and they were able to, stop them and, basically get the gauntlets down and completely zone them out of that team fight. So here we go with Kraken pushing in the next team fight. See Synergy really, really desperate. Sky using his abilities on Kraken to take that Kraken down to as low health as possible quickly.
Well, they got Kraken about halfway, but it looks like Kraken's going to at least take this turret. They lost the one turret to mostly minion damage, pushing into base here. They're all going to get back to base. They're going to heal up to try and do a last defense here.
Vixen, Rix, and Beowulf getting a little bit of regen. They're going right in for Kraken. That's what they want. You see the ultimate coming out of Sky just to keep them away. All but one turret is destroyed. This is really, really huge for Synergy, being able to push all the way down without a single turret on their side. Vertigo's got one last shot. You see Synergy realizing they just need to get out of there quickly as possible.
Vertigo's going to go for the chase. I mean, Synergy's got the 4,000 gold lead, but the gold that they just earned, they haven't had a chance to spend it. So the gold is actually very close as far as.
And Rick's doing a ton of damage onto Bubblegum. It's unbelievable. Even with the heal, you see down he goes, though. And Rick's doesn't want to chase, doesn't need to chase. There's so much vision and scout traps there. They just need to go through, clear all that out, and start trying to get back into this game. With Bubblegum being gone, starting all over is just not going to be as powerful. And with Arden, Bubblegum is doing a lot of damage and also a lot of heal and a lot of increased damage buff thanks to his gift of wrath. But they take out the turret. That was really huge for Vertigo. And they're only down by 2,000 gold.
I mean, that's a great move, though. When the Kraken goes down, a lot of people go back to shop. But just going on the assault right away, you get a chance to spend that gold whenever it comes up. But things tend to stop after Kraken goes down. And if there's no reason to do that, when you could go for a counter push.
Yeah. I mean, you see all this vision that Synergy has. That some of it was tripped by Vertigo, but it's still there. I mean, this is the impressiveness that you see out of these high-low teams. Once they get that lead, they make sure that they've got vision everywhere, and there's tons of it, just all across the map. And this has really, really helped Synergy maintain their dominance. You see a lot of teams do this to ensure that teams can't sneak in or steal a Kraken. So Synergy doing a great job. They still got a good vision dominance going on inside Vertigo's side of the jungle as well as their own. So Vertigo able to chip away a little bit at that. Synergy looking to go through for the push, but Vertigo realizes they need to get all the gold they can, shop up, and then get ready for the next team fight.
Got 2 infusions on Synergy going into this push here. Got weapon on Ringo and a crystal on Adagio. They're aggressive. They're going forward. There's the gauntlet.
Yeah, the gauntlet just came off of the respawn time. You see Sky's ultimate coming in. Vixen just trying to stay on the outskirts. He does get stunned a little bit, but they're doing so much damage on starting all over. They're right near the respawn, so they can kind of get close on the heal. But here comes the ultimate. Down goes Vixen, and down goes Rix. It's just Beowulf left. That's the ace, and that is the game.
Great game. Great control by Synergy there. Controlling the jungle was the hugest factor in this victory, I would say.
Yeah, really impressive play out of Synergy. They had the early game. Vertigo did make a little bit of an attempt near that end of late game, but it was just not enough. And Synergy does come out with the win. Very decisive win here. Let's go take a quick look at the builds.
I mean, looking at the CS on Rix, 158. That's fantastic. He did a great job in the lane. I think he spent it wisely. He was trying to defend that damage coming off of Ringo. Ringo with the Sour Blade, Tyrant's Margo breaking point. I mean, he was just, in late team fights, he was putting a huge output on that.
He was, and there really was no problem with the lane. When Rix was in the fight and was able to sustain, he did a tremendous amount of damage, was very, very effective. The issue was with the jungle. The Vixen was very starved that middle game, was when they lost the early game, and Sky is one of those heroes, kind of like I told you with Cruel, where if you can get your early game lead, you're going to be absolutely devastating and you'll snowball. But if you shut him down, similar to how you do with Cruel, make sure you're aggressive and take the early game away from Sky. Sky just can't come back. It's too squishy and not able. And really, Sky's strength is to chase. And if you're running away, that's not where Sky's strongest at. So it's definitely